Hey guys, today I've got kind of a special video. I'm doing my own take on the Artemis program in Kerbal Space Program. That's Artemis missions are what we're going to use to go back to the moon, and here I'm going to use it to go back to the Mun. Today I'm launching the first two elements of the Lunar Gateway on a Falcon Heavy. With the extended fairing, they can actually carry both of the elements at the same time, so it's just one launch. I've got the power and propulsion element along with the Halo module, which stands for habitation and logistics. Here we have the main engine cutoff and the start of the second stage. Here in a moment we'll have the fairing separation. You can actually see the gateway modules. Here I go ahead and deploy some of the communications dishes, just to keep communication with the ground, while we wait for our burn into orbit. I tried to do something kind of fancy with the camera here like they do in real life with the Falcon 9 second stage, but due to the camera that I had it in, the camera flipped as we went into orbit, so you kind of get that rotation of the camera into a different angle. we can say goodbye to the MechJeb Ascent Guidance. I put both of the solar panels on the propulsion element into a action group because I thought it would look nicer when we get around on the bright side of Kerbin and we deploy them. Here I go ahead and make a maneuver for us to go up and get a capture by the Mun. Due to the polar orbit we'll need to achieve, I have to kind of inclinate our trajectory just a little bit, but we can do most of that once we're actually in the sphere of influence of the Mun. Here we deploy those two massive solar panels on the propulsion element. Those help us to power the ion engines, which we can use to maneuver the gateway around in orbit. I go ahead and deploy the last couple of dishes on the halo element, and with that we're ready to go to the Mun. I realized that once we enter the sphere of influence of the Mun, we'd need another maneuver to get us into a more polar orbit, so I went ahead and set that up before we went on. Right as we enter the sphere of influence, I go ahead and do the maneuver that will put us in a more polar orbit from which we can actually cover most of the Mun, and if we wished, we could actually land anywhere from the gateway station. I decided not to have such an eccentric orbit with this station because I knew it would be a pain to rendezvous and dock with, but it's still slightly eccentric, so I guess you could still say it's kind of like the real life gateway, but not exactly. With that final burn, we can say goodbye to the second stage as it floats off into oblivion. It actually nearly hit one of our solar panels, so I had to use RCS to kind of propel myself away. And later on here, I decided that maybe we needed to have a slightly more polar orbit, so I was going to use the ion engines on the gateway itself to actually push it into the final orbit that I thought was good enough. Here we start up the ion engines to make the final adjustments to our orbit. These engines are pretty slow, of course, so I go ahead and kind of speed through this part. I checked real quickly to make sure that there weren't any satellites in the path of our orbit, and from the looks of it we were pretty good, so that means that this orbit is probably the one that the gateway is going to stay in for now. With our target destination reached, I can make one final look over the station. There's some equipment for our future Kerbinauts that will be going to the station, and I can also do some science. Even though this is a sandbox save, I still like to have a few functional payloads on my spacecraft. With the Gateway now in Mun orbit, all we have left to do is send some Kerbinauts up, and with that they will attempt a Mun landing. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I hope to make this kind of a series, so if you can like and subscribe, that would really help out. So until next time.